We've all heard an Amber Alert, that extended beeping noise that wakes people in the middle of the night or interrupts a quiet setting, signaling the worst, that a child in the area has gone missing. However, there's not a full understanding of where this alert came from, what it means, or why it exists in the first place. It all began with one letter to a Texan radio station and grew into the international emergency alert system that we are familiar with today. This is the tragically hopeful story of Amber's Alert, the child behind the acronym. Stranger danger is a phrase that is repeated over and over by parents and guardians all over America. Don't talk to strangers, don't trust anyone you don't know, and stay close to your family. Children know to keep away, but how? In the early 1930s, PSAs were created in the form of moving pictures with the intention of communicating this point to children. Parents would take their kids to the theater where they would watch actors on screen pretend to be kidnapped. The clip playing, for example, is called Dangerous Stranger and was made in 1949. From this point forward, there was a surge in the use of video PSAs to warn children about the danger of talking to people they didn't know. The late 70s to early 80s saw the largest boom in this production due to the fear of homosexual predators living among the public. These PSAs were shown everywhere, and with the development of the home television's larger screen and color picture, were able to be viewed within the domestic setting.
You've already been told about strangers dressing up in uniforms, but there are other traps you need to know about.
Hi, I lost my little dog. Can you help me find him?
Be suspicious of an adult asking for help.
These PSAs, of course, were not 100% effective. Not of any fault of the productions, but Stranger Danger ignores the fact that most child kidnappings are perpetrated by someone that the child knows, like a family member. Yet this paranoia swept the nation, and was only increased with the case of Eitan Pates. Eitan, a 6-year-old schoolboy, disappeared while on his way to the school bus in Soho. It was the first time that his parents had let him walk the 2-block route on his own. The school did not alert them, and once the Pateses were aware that their son was missing, it was far too late. Eitan's case broke the news and people went haywire. The fact that the Pates' son had been taken by someone they didn't know and that they couldn't find him in any state caused a frenzy. It was clear that just telling kids to stay away from strangers wasn't working, so the U.S. turned to another method, the milk carton. Milk carton kids were the children on the side of milk cartons, of whom were labeled with the words missing or have you seen me? The first of these children was Eitan. His face was plastered on the inexpensive cartons all across America to be sold in local supermarkets. However, as these cartons were used, pediatricians and child psychologists became more and more aware of how the milk carton program was affecting children's minds. Dr. Benjamin Spock, for one, criticized the program, saying that they induced fear in kids as they ate breakfast. It gave the implication that they would also be abducted. Along with this, the program was just not as effective as the original idea had intended. Noreen Ghosh, whose son Johnny was one of the first along with Eitan to be placed on the cartons, said the following. What it did was raise the level of awareness. It didn't necessarily bring us tips or leads we could actually use. And so the initial phasing out of the milk carton missing program began in the mid to late 1980s, and it became completely obsolete with the development of what we know today as the Amber Alert system. On January 13, 1996, Amber Hagerman was riding around the parking lot of an abandoned Winn-Dixie in her hometown of Arlington, Texas, with her brother and some other friends. Her brother and friends elected to return to their grandmother's home just down the street, but Amber decided to stay in the lot just a little bit longer to try out her new pink bicycle. Tragically, this would be the last time Amber would be seen alive by her family. She was abducted by a man in a black pickup truck in that same lot with only one witness. Jimmy Kevill said, "I saw this pickup. He pulled up, jumped out, and grabbed her. When I heard her scream, I knew something was wrong." Amber would not be seen or heard from again for 4 days until on January 17th, her body was found in a creek about 8 miles north of where she had been kidnapped. This rattled the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The highly publicized murder of a 9-year-old girl was absolutely devastating. Amber had a 6-hour-long viewing simply because of how many mourners came to see this girl. Her story was broadcasted across news stations, and one woman found it struck a chord with her. Diana Simone, a mother, came home one day to see the news on. On the television was a home video of the 9-year-old Amber opening Christmas presents from just a few weeks prior. The broadcast cut back to the anchor, and Diana's earnest to find out what this little girl had done to earn a spot on the news quickly turned to horror as it was explained that Amber had been kidnapped earlier that morning. Throughout the 4 days that she was missing, the media and police begged the public for any information on Amber or her kidnapper. With only one witness and no leads except the color of the car, it was hard for the public to know what to look for.
Now let's be honest, invisible is impossible. Common sense dictates you cannot drive a large vehicle through a densely populated area and not be seen. So the problem really wasn't that no one saw them. It's no one recalled what they'd seen. They had no reason to.
This is where the idea of Amber Alert was born, from the need for a faster crowdsourcing method to find child kidnapping victims. Diana Simone sent this following letter to Jennifer Grimm of KDXM 102.9 FM in Addison, Texas. It details the initial plan that Diana had to implement the Amber Alert, or as it was first called, Amber's Plan. As this alert broadcast was used in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, more states adopted the program. Throughout 1996 to 2002, it spread across America until it finally reached the president. Bill Clinton, on October 2, 2002, held the first White House conference on missing, exploited, and runaway children. Through this, the nation gained a higher understanding on how to create a safer environment for the children of America. The final and imperative development of the Amber Alert was its transfer to mobile devices. As of 2006, alerts are sent out to mobile phones through the Wireless Emergency Alert System, which is also used for various man-made and natural disasters. This gives a larger scale of who can see the alerts, as they are broadcasted by cell tower to any WEA-enabled device in the surrounding area. In this entering year for the WEA usage of the Amber Alert, 261 alerts were issued. 214 cases were recovered. Of those who were recovered, 59 of the cases were resolved directly due to the alert being broadcasted. While the report on the 2005 Amber Alert statistics are not publicly available, the number of children recovered is. There is a significant jump in the number of recovered cases, from 26 cases in 2005 to 214 cases in 2006. As can be seen from the graph, once WEA was implemented for the use of Amber Alerts, the number of cases recovered versus the number of cases issued became considerably more congruent. However, one important distinction to remember is that the number of recovered children also includes those who were recovered deceased. The final numbers of cases recovered alive, deceased, and missing can be seen here. The importance of these Amber Alerts are so clear, with the number of children that are recovered along with the immediate reactions of the public. While it may not seem as though the alerts are much more than an annoying sound on your phone, they save lives. In conclusion, Amber Hagerman, or Arlington's Little Angel, saved lives and gave peace to the families of those who could not be saved. Her impact on society, though she cannot see it, is everlasting. Amber's alert shows that even through times of tragedy, humanity's kindness and perseverance shines through. So the next time that you hear that Amber Alert, don't just turn it off and ignore it. Take in what it's telling you and keep your eyes open. You could save a life.